Hey everybody, Ryan here. This is day 5 of the JavaScript 30 course that I'm doing. I'm going to try to make this video quick today. So basically what we're building on this day is this image gallery that you can kind of click on different things and see how it transitions. Now a lot of the CSS he has written for you, at least the basic animation transition parts. I'm not going to focus too much on those, but I will show you a little bit. You're using a lot of Flexbox stuff to make it align up. The thing I'm the most proud of, though, in this bit of code is the JavaScript. So in the video, he puts the JavaScript, he just puts an event listener on every single div. So you'll see here's our page. He literally puts just an event listener on every single panel. And what I wanted to do was take advantage of event bubbling and just put one event listener on panels, and then have that function that runs when here's a click event on panels. It's smart enough to be able to tell which panel was clicked. And so the way I did that was I wrote a recursive function. I decided to make it recursive. So basically what's happening is that we are grabbing the panels container, and then we're just defining a couple functions here. So we got reset panels and find panels element recursive. So what I'm doing, reset panels is literally just grabbing all the panels, and then for each panel, it's just removing the open class. So that's all reset panels is doing, is it's literally going through the list and then just assigning on the class list, is just removing the open. So it's resetting everything. And that fires when it's neutral like this and you want to just close everything, it resets. And it also enables the, like say this one's open and I want to open up this one, it closes, the reset closes this one. Otherwise they would both be open at the same time, which is, you'll run into that if you tried implementing this yourself. Okay, so that's what the reset function does. Pretty simple. The find panel element recursive. So what we're doing is we're creating a variable called path index. We're setting a default to 0, which is what we need. And then this is just a guard clause to stop the recursive function in case it gets out of control and just ends up in an infinite loop. So if it runs more than 10 times, it's just going to error out and return, and it'll stop calling itself. So this is the part, the recursive part, where it calls itself. So we're detecting wherever the click event was, if it wasn't necessarily clicked. Because what we're trying to do, let me just open this, explain kind of big picture. What we're trying to do is that when I click on, so this second guy here, this the one that says take in it. So when I click on the div, it'll add a thing of open. But let's say I want to click on the word take. So if I click on the word take without this recursive function, it's actually not going to apply open to the panel div. It's going to apply open to the p tag on take. And that's not going to do anything. We want to add a class of open to here. See how that opened it? When we do that and close it, it'll transition away. But if we just add a class of, back to my recursive function. So the recursive function is basically, it's accessing the event, and then the event object has a property on it called path, which is an array of the elements it went through to get to this path. So that's why we are setting it to 0. So we're going through this array. So if the first item in the array doesn't contain panel, it's going to call itself again, but then it's going to check array index 1. We're going to increase it by 1, and we're going to check again, come through this again, and it's going to check through that array until it finds one that does contain panel. And when it does contain panel, it's just going to return that element. And so that's when we have find panel element recursive. That's how we get that element. So depending on whether or not it's clicked directly on the element, or we're clicking a child of that element, it'll recurse up through the tree, and it'll fire. We'll be able to get the correct panel element. And then it's pretty simple. All we're just saying is, because these are just function definitions, so we're just finding the panel, and then we're just saying panel.classlist contains open. If it contains open, we reset the panels, meaning that we clicked on this panel. Now this panel has the class of open. If I click it again, we just reset it. So it just everything goes back to neutral. Whereas, so that's what that little piece of code does, is it checks if we're basically double clicking up the same element. If it's the same element and it's already open, we're just resetting them and then we're returning from the function. We're not going to do the rest. Now, if it's not open, meaning that everything's neutral here, or not even if it's neutral, but if this is open and then I click on, say, the one here with the word in it, if I click on that, then the click event was not on a panel that had open in it, so it skips that. It resets the panels, so that's what will close this other one. So we're back here again. I click this, it resets, and then it applies a class of open to the panel that was clicked that we used our recursive function to find. So that's a real basic intro to recursion. It's kind of unnecessary for this. This is a bit of an unnecessary optimization for all this, but I found I had fun doing it, writing recursive functions and trying to figure it out, wrap my head around it. So I just wanted to include that in this. That's it for today. I'm not going to get too in depth with the CSS or anything. It's just using flexboxes. I have a flexbox series if you guys want to check it out. Other than that, oh, and I used this cubic Bezier tool. I'll put in the description where you can mess around with the different curves of the animations, and that's how you're getting these nice transitions and stuff in the animations. Like, see how it kind of bounces in and out as opposed to being really linear and static. We can have a little bit better animations when you use this cubic Bezier tool. And I have a couple of presets, but then you can also make your own. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thanks. Bye.